My name is Sari van Poelje. I run Intact Academy, which is a school for coaches and consultants. And I run a business consultancy business where I help businesses innovate more quickly than they innovate their products. One of the things I notice is that people keep their leadership, their cooperation, their relationship to clients in a traditional way, which means they're often too late for the market. And I help businesses get on time to market. Now, one of the tools I use is transactional analysis, and we've been talking about that quite a lot. We've talked about contracting, we've talked about ego states, we've talked about transactions, and we just talked about the 5 ways people keep their own reality going, and so that they're not able to solve their problems in the here and now. We talked about the first way, which was redefinition, and now we're going to talk about the second way, which is called symbiosis. Symbiosis is really interesting because for me, there are functional types of symbiosis and dysfunctional types. But let's start with the definition first. So symbiosis is when 2 or more people act as if they have less than 3 ego states each. This is the technical definition. So it means that when I am in a relationship with you, for instance, I pretend you are my parent who holds all the values and all the boundaries, and I am the one who is the child, and I don't have the capacity to think from adult or the capacity to structure from parent. So I'm the one who's holding all the feelings and all the intuition is in a relationship. At a much deeper level, it means that I'm taking care of you as long as you take care of me. And that's often a symbiotic form we see in relationships, but also sometimes at work, where people mistake the role of the leader as the one who thinks and who creates boundaries and doesn't feel, where the employees just follow them and do all the feeling for them. Of course, when you're just born, the relationship between a mother and a caretaker, let's say a mother and a child, sorry, a caretaker and a baby, or a mother and a child, is that of symbiosis. At that point in time, a baby does not have an adult or a parent ego state. They only have the child ego state and somatic child ego state as that. So they can feel a lot of things. They feel fear, they feel hunger, they feel somatic experiences. And of course, at that point in time, when you don't have an adult or a parent, it's the mother or a caretaker who translates that into needs and fulfilling those needs. We call that functional symbiosis. As an adult, sometimes you also have functional symbiosis. So if I've broken my leg and I can't walk anymore, and I asked my partner, could you please go to the kitchen and get me a cup of coffee? And I'm really incapacitated, and that person agrees to do that, you know, we have a contract for it. It's kind of a functional symbiosis. So, you know, I do have an incapacitation in real life, and that person is taking care of me. Or when I'm sick and I can't think very clearly, and someone else says, no, actually, you have to do something now. You have to take your medicine. I go, okay. So that's a functional symbiosis you might have in real life. As an adult, it doesn't happen very frequently. So if you find yourself doing that all the time, without having a contract or without there being a need, you're probably in a symbiotic state. And a symbiotic state, I know a lot of people are in that state at some time or other in their life. But if you have that constantly, it keeps both of you from growing. It keeps the person who is fulfilling the parent and the adult role from growing, because they're actually excluding their child ego state. So they're not really in contact with their own needs, more in contact with the needs of the other. And so without being in contact with your own needs, it's really hard to grow. The other person also doesn't grow because they're not in contact with their adult and their parent. And so they're always in contact with that child's state of hearing no somatic experience or intuition. But they don't have the capacity to think that comes with the adult, or the capacity to make boundaries, which comes with the parent. And so They're losing their capacity to grow in the here and now. So though it may feel really good when someone brings you chicken soup when you're sick, it's a temporary state. Sorry about that. If you do that all the time, it's actually a way to stop the other person from learning. And you should reconsider. When we say it stops you from growing, it means it's dysfunctional when it's based on a discount. And we'll talk more about that later.